Hey
Hey
guys, how you doing? How you
guys.
doing? We're here with one and only Mr. Elvie Shane.
Hey,
Elvie,
bro.
thanks so much for joining us, brother. I appreciate it.
Hey, man. Thank you guys for having me. Sorry, it's been such a bounce around. I thought I was going to be at an Airbnb in Nashville right now when we were going to talk, but turns out I got to go home. So I'm on the trek from Nashville to Monticello, Kentucky right now. Where are you guys at?
We are in El Paso, Texas, brother.
You know, life
Just
happens.
had us some tacos and my belly's feeling good. I tell you that.
El Paso is not a bad place to be, y'all.
I could think of better places to be. I got like home, but hell, I'll take it.
Where's home for you guys?
Niangua, Missouri, a little town about 40 miles outside of Springfield, Missouri.
Okay, not familiar with it, but I've been through Missouri many times.
Yeah, down there in the Ozarks.
That's when you start in the dirt ocean all the way to Colorado.
All the way.
Dude, so one time I had this young kid come play bass for me in my band. His name's Jacob, and he played with me for like 7 years, but he had never been anywhere outside of Los Angeles. So we were in Colorado, and we were going to drive back to Nashville. Well, I had him drive, and he got it in at last stop or last chance Colorado.
Uh-huh.
So he got in right there. We got gas, and about 5 or 6 hours later, he looked at me. We were still in Kansas, and he just looked at me and said, "It's a sea of dirt." That's a good analogy, man, because you get lost out there.
Oh, but yeah.
It's so flat, and just every mile looks like the last freaking mile you went.
Ain't much change, is it?
Yeah. Every truck driver watching this right now is probably like, look at this asshole talking on his cell phone while he's driving down the road.
As they do it themselves.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm just being a true four-wheeler right now, all right?
There you go. Got to stay true, right? Stay true.
Yes, yeah.
For those of you that don't know, and I don't know how you wouldn't know Elvie Shane, he's had one of the biggest hits in the last decade. To be honest with you, Elvie, I mean, My Boy is a great song. I love it and all, but it probably wasn't one of my favorites, to be honest with you. I love it. Don't get me wrong, but Miles is probably my favorite song that you play. Well, tell you, as of yesterday, it was my favorite song. I'm digging the new one, man. I'm digging that Forgotten Man. Digging it, man.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate it, man. I mean, My Boy did a lot of great things for me, and it's a very honest song to who I am and everything. But I think Miles is still probably my favorite song that I've ever written or been a part of. I wrote that song with a couple good friends of mine, John Sherwood and Luke Preston, and I think it's all of our favorite songs that we've been a part of right now. It's I just love the intro. I love the song. I love the outro. Everything about that song. I feel something when I play it, when I listen to it.
Now the recorded version, that's your dad's scratch in the recorded version too, isn't it?
Yeah, at the beginning, that's my dad. So when I was in 6th grade, I failed and I had to go to summer school, and I was always outside in the driveway working with my dad on his trucks, and we were hot, sweating our asses off, wrenching on something, and he was frustrated and slinging tools around, and he told me, he said, "Boy, you got to learn something, or you're going to be working in this hot ass gravel on these damn trucks all your life." And that stuck with me, man. I just went back here Easter weekend, and I worked on a truck with my dad and my brother a little bit, and drove my brother's truck around, Outlaw Trucking LLC.
Yep.
But man, I loved it, going back and doing it. I hated it when I was doing it, man, when it was hot and I was out there and I could have been hanging out with my friends, but god dang, I'm so glad I got that as a foundation, man. I learned how to fix shit. I can work on my own shit if I need to. And also, you just learn a lot about common sense out there. So there's nothing wrong with working in a hot ass gravel on them damn trucks all your life, but he, I guess as parents, we always want more for our kids, right? So
that's what makes it. That's what makes a good parent. You always want better for your children than what you had.
That song just related to me on so many different levels, though, man. It related to me not only like being a truck driver or driving a truck, but also out here doing what I'm doing. When I was doing pipeline construction and I was on the road like 5 days a week, you know, doing pipeline construction back in the day, working in Alabama away from home. It's so many different jobs that you could have. You know, it's whatever takes you away from your family and your loved ones and your friends. You know, that I think that song touches all of those categories. You know,
I had to laugh there, brother, because that's how I got my start with truck driving, was back on the pipeline.
Yeah. So I helped put a water line and a sewer line in down in Coleman, Alabama. I was working for a company out of Kentucky where I met a good friend of mine. Now he was my foreman. I had one foreman that he was just a real asshole, and he treated me like shit. Well, this new foreman came along. His name was Steve Rich, and he had me come over and help on his team one day. And then he went to the bosses. He was like, "Look," he called me Billy Ray because he said I looked like Billy Ray Cyrus back then. But he said Billy Ray's coming to work with me. And I stayed with him until I left that company. But I got hot, pissed off one day and slung my shovel across the job site. He said, and I was walking off. He said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to go do music or something. I'm done with this shit." And he said, I've been waiting for you to say that. So it wasn't long after that, man. I got a job working for a production company. And then about a year and a half after that, I started trying to, you know, chase after this dream. But that's a little,
guys,
I don't know. I don't even know I got off on that tangent, but here we are.
I'm gonna kind of speak to the people that are watching, guys. If you haven't listened to some of Elvie's other music, you're missing out, because I tell you what, it don't get much better. Sympathy for the devil, for instance. Not to take anything away from Mick Jagger, but brother, I think you did it better.
I like it.
And I'm not trying to just yank your chain. I'm telling you like it is.
Yeah, take that, Mick Jagger. No, man, so, dude, I don't give a damn what anybody says. I worked harder than anybody on that record, man. I went in, I watched every interview with those guys about that song. I read the book that Mick Jagger read that inspired that song. I watched hours of studio footage. I wanted to get in Mick's head because I really wanted to just pay homage to the attitude and everything that Mick put into that song. I don't even know how I got on that damn project, man. That roster, if you look at that roster, it's like, where in the hell did this little hillbilly come from, you know? But
I love it, though. I'm so glad you did it.
You did an awesome job, brother. You really did.
I had a lot of fun on that. And also, speaking of hillbilly, there was another song I put out earlier this year that came out on with the Cadillac 3. And if you guys haven't heard the Cadillac 3, I know you'd love them.
That's who I need to check out. I haven't heard of the Cadillac 3. I know you're touring with them, and you're touring with Blackberry Smoke, and I'm a big fan of Blackberry Smoke.
Yes, we like
man. So I discovered Blackberry Smoke and Cadillac 3 at the same time back in like 2015, I think. And kind of just ran into them at the same time. And it's crazy how things work out, man. I ended up being on the road with both those guys this year. It's a dream come true. But we did a song called Hillbilly, me and the Cadillac 3. We put that out earlier this year too. So if y'all ain't heard that, go check it out. It's just, I try to be real, man. I try to be real, and I try to talk about things that I actually know something about. And Hillbilly's, it's a big rocking song, but it's kind of a warning about the perils of, you know, just finding yourself in addiction and alcoholism and living in a rural community. So if anybody knows that story, go check it out. Maybe you can relate.
Christopher Johnson wants to know, how do we find Elvie Shane's music?
It's everywhere where music is whatever listened to. So you go Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you want to listen to.
You name it.
Find it out there.
Elvie Shane. It's Elvie.
And yeah. I like to say our daughter Mook is in the house, and she is a big fan of yours.
Yeah, brother, you knocked me down a couple notches, but you brought me up a couple notches in her book too, man.
Because her and her husband, before they got together from previous relationships, they both have a son apiece. So the song "My Boy" really hits home for them.
Well, that's something, that's something that has led me to discover. I tell other artists and other songwriters, what that song taught me is that none of us are really all that special. Like, I think people tend to put musicians up on a pedestal and stuff because they see them up on stage. And you guys met me. I like to be down there with you guys, So I'm like, I don't like to be put up on a pedestal. And I think as an artist, if you just lose your ego and accept the fact that you're not all that special, all you got to do is tell your story and you're going to relate to people. It's just, none of us have been through anything that someone else in the world probably hasn't been through, right? So
we can all relate.
Just be honest and tell your story. It ain't always going to touch, but it's going to touch somebody. It ain't going to touch everybody, but somebody it'll reach.
We went to Matt's, and that's where we met Elvie, and I've got to say, it was really cool to watch the concert. But I tell you what, it really hit home, and it really kind of touched me a little bit in my heart to watch your brother. Your brother sat there and watched you play with so much passion and so much. He was proud, and you could see the pride in him. And Scratch was in the back next to us, and we were all talking and having a beer. And I tell you what, Elvie Shane's whole family are just good people.
Salt of the earth people, down to earth.
Yeah, man, I think I was super blessed to be raised up in a family that just, they're just old school, just good blue collar people, and I don't know, I don't meet a whole lot of people. It's weird, like being where I'm at in this industry. I feel like an alien sometimes, man, from where I come from, around my peers. There's definitely some of them out there, but I definitely feel like an alien sometimes. And that's kind of what Forgotten Man is about. That you were talking about that song a while ago. It's just like, I'm tired of like just blue collar, everyday American people being represented or misrepresented in songs. I think, there's people out there that's all mad at Bruce Springsteen these days about whatever, but I'm the kind of we can agree to disagree kind of guy, and we can still be friends. I'm not going to be mad at you because we don't agree on things, right? But I think that song "Born in the USA" really, really hits the nail on the head of where, of what the American dream is actually like. If you listen to those lyrics, man, you sing "Born in the USA" proud as hell. But if you listen to the verse lyrics, man, it's hard. It's a struggle to be an American and chase that dream, especially coming from nothing. So Springsteen was a huge influence in Forgotten Man, as well as The Who. We just had a lot of fun with the drums and stuff, trying to chase a little bit of The Who. But that's what I'm about right now, man. I'm just trying to lean as hard into all of my influences and mix them up as much as I can, and just trying to create some kind of sound that's classic, and that can be listened to 20 years from now. I still, to this day, go back and listen to the Guitar Town record from 1986 and the Blue Moon Swamp record from 1997. And I listened to those records and I was like, man, I can listen to this every day. It don't bother me a bit.
Yeah. Guys, like I was saying, after we get done talking here, check out Forgotten Man. You got to check it out. That hook is, and that's exactly what it is. It's a hook because it'll grab you, hook, line, and sinker, and just drag you in. Because I related to it, man. It's Daddy worked hard working for $1. Yeah. Name on his patch, wore like a badge of honor. Try to send me off to school, turn me into a scholar. Can't rub off the paint on my collar.
Yeah, can't unpaint the blue on my collar.
Can't unpaint the blue off my collar. I knew I was going to screw that up, man. I had to screw something up.
I might just go get a big blue band tattooed all the way around my neck.
Oh, hell, man.
We've got
maybe Jelly Roll will let me come on tour with him if I get a big old.
That'd be cool, man. Heck, I'd love to see you at Large Cars and Guitars next year. That'd be badass.
I'd love to be at Large Cars and Guitars next year, man. That'd be sick.
What you call it? I tell you what, I'm just kind of dumbfounded just by by your music. To be honest with you, and I'm not really a fanboy. I really ain't. I promise I ain't.
Dude, you're good, man.
Sundays in the
I
South.
appreciate it.
That's another great one. Sundays in the South. I mean, if you like gospel, I mean,
Oh yeah.
he rocks the gospel.
Well, I grew. That's how I learned to sing, man. You know, Mom said I was born on a Sunday, and the following Sunday she had me held tightly beside a hymnal at Walnut Grove Missionary Baptist Church. So, I grew up singing with my mom in church, and then going home working on trucks with my dad and listening to Leonard Skinner and Otis Redding and the band and everything. You know, Steve Earle, John Fogerty, Dwight Yoakam. I got a good mixture of rock and roll and Jesus growing up, man. And I still love to pay homage to my gospel days. I love hymns. I try to sing a hymn at every show I play, you know, and just God's been good to me, man. And, you know, I like to give him a little back every chance I get, because I sure don't give him enough back. So.
Christopher's wanting to know, do you have CDs to sell? You can probably get the CD right there at elvieshane.com, right?
Yeah, I believe we got CDs on the website, and then if you come to a show, most of the time I'll have some physical CDs with me.
Now, I did tell you I'm not a fanboy, but I got to tell you, Mrs. G is a fangirl. She waited in the line, got the T-shirt, got the signature. I was outside bullshitting with your family, and I was talking to your brother and your sister and your dad outside, and I was having a good old time. She was waiting in line like a fangirl.
I did. I waited in line like a fangirl.
I gotta say, what is it?
But you know, getting the picture though was to send it home to Mook so that way she could see.
It was bragging rights.
I love that night so much. So I try. The only time I don't go out after my shows like that is when I'm opening up for another artist, because I just feel like it's disrespectful to go out and, you know, distract people from somebody else's show, you know, especially if it's like an up and coming artist that's playing after me, if I'm opening up for another up and coming artist, because every time if there's 5 people back there talking to me, that's potentially 15 people that could be at that person's next show, because they go and tell 2 people a piece, you know, about how good they were. So, but when I'm headlining and stuff, I try to go out and meet everybody I can. But that night was super special because I was there for hours afterward, man. The line was so long, and I actually got to talk to people and say hello and hear some stories and shake hands, take pictures, kiss babies, all that shit, you know.
I got to tell you, you know, we were actually set up at the truck show. We had a booth set up. I was selling my seasoning and hot sauce there, right? And I had a few people come up to me and say, "Hey, great show last night." And then I'm walking around the venue there, and I had one guy stop me and tell me, "Hey man, great show." I said, "Did you like that? Did you have a good time?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Would you like a picture?" "Yeah." And his buddies
laughing.
His buddy knew who I was already, you know. And I said, "Don't say a word." And I took a picture with him. And then after we took the picture, I said, "You thought I was Elvie, didn't you?"
Like, yes.
All he seen was the beard.
Dude, so I literally just cut mine off today. It's just been getting. I pushed out, man. It's too hot and humid for it anymore. Can't do it. But no, I loved my beard, man. That was the first time I'd ever had a big old beard like that. It takes a lot to hide all this ugly, son.
Oh, hand me my stuff. Elvie, when we get off here, you're going to have to do me a favor. Shoot me your address, and I want to send you some of the seasoning and hot sauce that we have.
Dude, yes.
And I'll give you the sales pitch right now.
Oh, goodness. Here it comes.
We got the Trucker GSpot. Trucker, let me get it right.
All right there.
You messed it up. Trucker GSpot seasoning. The love your meat's been wanting. Hits the spot every time. I tell you what, if I one of these and take it home to the wife, you'll finally be able to look her in the eye and say, "Honey, I found the GSpot without lying."
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you about as full of shit as I am, Trucker G.
You got to have a good time in life, brother. And that's why I enjoy you and your family so much, because you guys did have a good time, and we had a good time just meeting you.
Nobody has as good a time as Scratch does, but we all have
Oh,
We
no.
had a great time.
I tell you what, Scratch is true blue old school. I mean, an old school trucker as you'll ever see.
He's a real deal, Lucille, man. I mean, I was running around with him when I was a kid, you know, hauling cattle, hauling grain, local, over the road. Man, and I remember back in the day, like at one point in time, Dad had a couple guys driving for him. And he sent me off to Texas with Billy Taylor, this guy that drove a truck for him, and had 2000 model purple, plum crazy purple or something, Kenworth W900. And I went to Texas with this dude, and we'd known him for a while, but I had the biggest time. I stayed on that CB wearing people's ears out the whole damn time I was on the road. But I couldn't have been 10 years old, but I grew up around a lot of old school truck drivers, man, and they all good, hardworking people. I'm really disappointed to see some of the things that's happened in the trucking industry and how many damn steering wheel holders there are out there these days instead of real truck drivers. But
it's not
if you're mad about that comment, you're probably do you hear me?
And if you didn't catch what he said, if you're mad about that, you're probably a steering wheel holder. You got it froze up, but I'll go ahead and finish that sentence in case anybody didn't hear.
That's funny. And D Scratch is Elvie's father.
Cutting out on me.
Oh, I don't know if it's us or you.
I think it's him.
I've got 4 bars. I'm good on mine.
It might be me. It might be me.
Move, so there ain't no way it's you.
We're down here at the Mexican border. Maybe they're stealing my bandwidth.
That's probably what it is.
You got to watch the Mexicans, brother.
All right, whatever. Don't make me grab the blade out of my hair.
Oh man,
I can say that I'm married to one.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out, brother.
I said I could say that I'm married to one.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't think they're not actually from Mexico, but I've got a couple guys of Mexican descent that work with me, and dude, I've been trying to learn Spanish. That shit's hard.
It ain't easy.
I know the cuss word.
I can't even speak English yet, and I'm trying to learn Spanish.
You're like me. You're fluent in hillbilly.
I am fluent in hillbilly. Hey, I'm gonna pull over for a minute so I don't lose you guys while we got good service here.
Right on.
Oh,
guys, I just want to kind of reiterate, Elvie's going to be on tour this summer. He's going to be with the Cadillac 3. Am I correct? Cadillac 3 and Blackberry Smoke.
So I just finished the run with Cadillac 3, and then I'm going out with Blackberry Smoke here in a month or so. Other than that, I'm just doing some kind of one-off gigs. Right now, this year, I'm really focused on getting this next record recorded. We got another song coming out May 26th called Baptized. You heard it here first. And then I'm going to finish the year out just kind of playing sparse shows, finishing this record, and then next year we'll be out there giving her hell on the road.
Hell yeah. Well, maybe we can catch up with you. I know you're on your way home and everything, brother, so I don't want to hold you. I know you just pulled over to talk to us, but you're on your way home, and so I don't want to hold you up, man. I don't want to hold you up.
You're good, buddy. I appreciate
you
guys, man.
You got a beautiful little 2-year-old, man, so I know you're waiting to get back there.
I'm about to be gone for a little bit over a week, so I'm driving all the way back home tonight just so I can see my kids and my wife. Well, my wife's coming with me this time, but I'm going to go home so I can tell my kids good night and tell them good morning, and I'm hitting the road again.
Heck yeah, brother. We need to get together sometime. Maybe I can catch you out on the road and catch one of your shows or something.
I'm sure we can, buddy. We make it happen. On the road again. At the OT man's getting neath my skin. The truth about it, you don't even have a friend. And they all turn to good buddies in the end.
Love it. Heck, I might have to get you to write me a little jingle. I like that.
I want to do a show. I want to do a show sometime that's just Ray Carlisle covers.
I like Ray Carlisle.
Cool. Briefcase song, all that shit,
Brother,
you guys. Thank you for having me.
Give them baby some loves, and I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you for taking the time, Elvie.
Absolutely, Miss G. Thank you, guys. God bless y'all.
God bless you too, Ed.
See ya.
Take Elvie out that way he can get on home. And
all right,
guys, that was Elvie Shane. The recording, you just kind of had to deal with it because he was in a bad situation. Yeah. And it might not have been him. It might have been us.
Might have been us. And Mook, it's dos cervezas, por favor.
I've got to turn this cooler back on.
And actually, here's his.
Guys, we're going to go ahead and end. Love you guys.
Oh, all right, guys. Love y'all.
Yeah, love you.
Bye.
Yeah.